Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-888-88-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we attempt to navigate the latest boating news and information and abuse you on Facebook Live and YouTube and Twitch. Barry's the Boater. He's playing with leftover Halloween costumes. And I'll tell you what, it was an improvement. His costume was definitely an improvement over what we typically see for Barry Z. Boater on the World of Boating because, of course, he went as me.
You know, this is Greg after he's had 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah. That's,
hey, Barry, can you send that to me so I can make that my virtual background on Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
I think it ought to be the background on your cell phone. And yeah, what is that? What are those googly eyes you got on there? You pasted some. You changed your Halloween costume.
No, those are your eyes. I just enhanced them a little bit.
Okay. Well, he has been enhanced. He has been improved.
Well, I don't know about that. He's been enhanced anyhow.
Okay. So anyway, if you choose to view what we're doing here on World of Boating on Facebook Live or YouTube and Twitch, we apologize in advance, as always. So, Mike the Mariner, right before airtime, said somebody was coming in and having some problems to your marina in Sanford and almost lost control. What happened? It's breezy in Central Florida today.
It's very, very windy. Last night when we got to the boat, the winds were out of the east and very, very blustery. Well, this morning, we got up, and of course that low pressure system moved across the state of Florida. It's now off the coast of of Jacksonville, and the winds totally changed direction. And in our marina, there's a large dinner cruise vessel called the Barbara Lee. It's a paddle wheeler, so it's got a flat bottom. It's basically a barge with paddles.
Right.
And so very tall vessel, not much hole in the water, and when he came into the marina, the winds were blowing him away from the dock. So as he approached the dock and made his pivot maneuver, the boat blew away from the dock, and they had to bring a small, I guess it's their tender, over and push him back in. But it was pretty exciting.
Like a poor man's tug. For that particular vessel, I guess. But and these, the winds that we have in Central Florida today and yesterday, we had some crazy winds. I mean, it was very blustery. It was a blustery day, as they say in Pooville. Is that what it is? Where Winnie the Pooh lives?
It was windy last night on the boat. I mean, all night long the boat was moving around.
Yeah,
and, you could feel the lines tugging.
Well, it's unpredictable because it wasn't like a steady wind. It was these gusts, and that is
it's not unpredictable.
What do you mean? It's not. I mean, if it's gusting,
a cold front was coming down. The winds.
I'm not saying that the wind.
Southeast to the west.
Yeah, but if they're gusting all over the place and not consistent, it could catch you off guard, Barry. Come on.
Then you shouldn't go out.
They're consistently from the west during this time.
Okay, but if they're gusting and you're not expecting a big gust to come in, it's going to take your boat and, create a sail out of it.
If you're going out when the winds
weather
are gusting, you should not be going out.
Right. Well, that is true.
Period.
But what if you're in on the intercoastal or on a lake like that? And you're just trying to dock. That's like the worst conditions to try to get back to dock.
All of a sudden, what Barry's saying is they knew the front was coming through. It's not like you were out and all of a sudden this storm blew in from nowhere.
Right.
You don't go out. You say, you know what, guys? We can't go out today. Hey, you know what, dinner cruise boat? Yeah, it's going to cost us some money, but you know what? It's really not going to be an enjoyable time out on the water, especially the St. John's, because you come past certain areas as you make these bends, these turns on the river, and all of a sudden you get blasted.
Well, understand, 20/20 hindsight is everything. But let's say you were out there and you get caught. So are there any tips that you could share as a captain, Patrick, that might help you navigate something like that? What else would you do other than use your dinghy as a poor man's tug to get you back to dock, like that guy.
In that instance where the big riverboat was coming back in,
Mm-hmm.
I throw out the bow.
get everybody you can out on the dock
Yeah.
to handle dock lines.
Right.
Get your best dock line handlers out on the boat,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mhm.
come in and you throw your lines and you get pulled in.
You throw out your bow line, then you could use your engines to push in your rear.
Not on that paddle boat.
Yeah, but that paddle boat doesn't really paddle, does it? Is that
Yeah,
a
it might.
fake paddle?
Oh,
or,
no.
It's
No,
old
it's a
school.
real
actual
paddle wheel
wheeler.
boat.
Yeah.
So it
So
has
it's-
no
it's-
props underneath.
No props.
No.
No, it's
So
it is a true paddle wheeler.
Right.
So you're not going like, all right, full reverse.
Well, actually, so I've actually been on the bridge, on a dinner cruise on that boat, and it operates like any other boat. It has two paddles at the stern, and they're split, and so you drive it like any other boat. It has two throttles. It's high. The engine RPMs stay constant because all the engines there's two engines on the boat.
Mhm.
It's
Two jet
just
turbines.
no. They're just they're diesel. They're Cummins diesel engines, and they're just hydraulic pumps. That's all they are,
Mm-hmm.
because the paddles are hydraulically driven. So forward and reverse is just like my boat. You can split the throttles and spin the boat because the
There-
paddles can
But
spin in opposite directions. And
There's no lag between your shift from forward into reverse in a situation like that.
No. Actually, on that boat, it's instantaneous. So all you're doing is when you're moving the throttles, which are not really the throttles, the engines are running at the same RPM the whole
Right.
time. The levers are simply just opening and closing hydraulic valves
Okay.
and diverting valves. So the second you put it in reverse, the paddles immediately start rolling backwards.
Wow,
but
that
you-
must
but
put
you-
some
forwards.
stress on it.
But
man.
but you still don't have the response, if you will, because you've got these paddles that are turning versus like your boat or a twin stern drive or twin pod drive, where you're probably turning twin props and or your joystick control at that point.
Well, those paddles have pretty good authority. He can spin that boat pretty well. The exception is in a high wind when it's a flat bottom boat, so it weather vanes like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas my boat doesn't. My boat
Like-
has the engines and the fuel tanks are right in the center of the boat, and of course I have props under the boat, so my center of gravity is very, very low, and my tanks and engines are very heavy. So in a crosswind, my boat doesn't weather vane like that.
And your height above water isn't as high.
Right. Well, did you see the captain of that paddle wheel boat? Was he like freaking out?
Yeah.
I mean, or like,
No, they were actually calm. I was listening to them on their working channel, and
Mhm.
he was just saying, "Hey, the boat's leaving the dock. I need you to move to the bow and push me in." And no, they handled it great.
yeah, he didn't call it Charlie Foxtrot or anything like that. They kind
No,
of
he did not.
saw
Probably a
this coming.
situation like that, other than your line handlers, would be probably to call ahead and have your service boat out and
Yep.
ready, because you just know it's going to be
tricky.
really,
Mhm.
really difficult to do that.
Mhm.
But we've seen this happen out on like Table Rock Lake, where some charters went out when they shouldn't have. They had the weather advisories, and those turned really, really bad. So
Yeah.
Mike has
gotta-
a lot of issues up there. They blow up wave
Yeah.
runners and they have
Yeah.
paddle boats
Mhm.
crashing.
Oh, I mean, I've seen boats come off trailers and slide down the ramp into the water because they disconnected the boat at the top of the ramp. And
Well, that's the quick way to launch.
it's
just good
amazing, the
entertainment.
stuff you see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. On a good busy afternoon, walking up to the boat ramp, is a great thing to. It's great to watch.
and if you want to get a really good idea of how windy it was and how choppy it made the conditions, go to the World of Boating Facebook page or worldofboating.com. There's a couple pictures that were snagged from some inlet video live stream at Boca. One boat vertical. I mean, truly vertical, standing on its transom.
At the Boca Inlet, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dangerous inlet.
Yeah. And with the conditions you guys had down there the last 24, 36 hours,
Yeah.
people were still going out. It's like, and again, there's one, again, the center console, which is literally on its transom. It's straight up in the air, and another one that came off to the starboard side got launched, and pretty much the only thing in the water was the engines. And then the passenger is there, with her feet up on the console, and it's like,
hey, look at me.
Nice and relaxed.
yeah, nice and relaxed, getting ready to get slammed.
Right. Well, if it weren't for those folks, we wouldn't have nothing to watch on YouTube. So God bless them. And thank you
that's not
for
true.
the
You can watch-
entertainment.
You can watch World of Boating on YouTube.
Okay, like I said,
Yes.
For entertainment purposes, yes. If you're into watching car wrecks and things like that, slow down. World of Boating might be a good option for you.
Entertainment.
Whoa! Quit it! My eyes are burning. Or Googling or something. I don't know. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Kids love to dress like pirates, the murderers and rapists that pirates were. And we think it's adorable.
Being a pirate is all fun and games till somebody loses an eye. It hurts like it blazes, it makes you pull faces, but you can't let your mates see you cry. A fancy black patch will cover the hatch, making sure the soccer stays dry. Being a pirate is all fun and games till somebody loses an eye.
It's so hard to being a pirate, a pirate, a pirate. You can be a pirate with all of your parts. It's so hard to being a pirate, a pirate, a pirate. You can be a pirate with all of your parts.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry, the boater, and Mike the mariner. And as we said earlier, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube, or Twitch, Barry has replaced his video with his Halloween costume of me. Definitely an upgrade, despite the eyes, the googly eyes that he's put on my face.
I think you have glaucoma.
I'm borderline blind, so I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
And he has really yellow teeth.
But once again, I do believe it is an upgrade for Barry as a boater. I don't think that's just me. You'd back me up on that, wouldn't you, Mike? Come on.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, I think we should
Got
see
your back,
more of
buddy.
Greg.
Tracy
Okay.
on Facebook has already said, yes, I agree, totally. He's way more attractive than Barry. So thanks for the upgrade, Barry. Or thanks.
You're welcome.
My
You're
self-esteem has been pumped
Boosted,
up.
huh?
Captain
Is that a
Patrick,
new
what say
guitar?
you?
Another guitar.
Yeah. He's looking at my guitars. That's
What I say is this. First thing, we have had a multitude of requests for you to provide a playlist of the music that's used on World of Boating.
Never going to happen.
The music is
Never
cool.
going to happen.
Of course it won't.
Okay, so
We have
for
to keep
all of
our
the-
secrets close to our chest. We got to keep a little bit of mystery in there, Patrick. Come on. What are you doing?
He doesn't want to pay the copyright. money.
Exactly.
trying to have you create a playlist
No.
for our listeners
No,
because they've
not going to do
requested
it.
one.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Not going to happen.
Second thing is, Mike has now been with the show what seems like an eternity, but
Yeah.
really has only been about 3 months.
Okay.
He needs a
And
raise.
in that time,
I'm going to double his salary. For the
we
record,
struggle-
right now, today, starting this minute in time, I declare Mike the Mariner now gets double the pay of what he started. You're welcome.
We struggled a bit finding a moniker for him, and we finally settled on Mike the Mariner.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to find kind of a niche for him, how he could really usefully contribute to the show in a positive manner. So we now present to you, our listeners, useless boating facts with Mike the Mariner.
So the question is, this is Useless Boating Facts by Mike the Mariner, but you wanted me to contribute in a useful manner to the show?
Yeah. How does this work, Patrick? I'm
I'm
confused.
putting him to use. I didn't say what you
someone
were going to
needs to.
say was useful.
Someone needs to.
The usefulness of
Okay.
this information is in the ears of the
Beholder.
listener. Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
what is it? What
Yes.
kind of useless fact, according to Captain Patrick, that you have for us today, Mike?
Okay, so I'm going through my shopping list on things to get for this vessel versus the vessel I sold before.
Yeah.
And the vessel I sold before, I left all the flags.
Okay.
So now I'm shopping for flags, and so I was doing a little bit of googling and trying to figure out what I should look for.
In a
and
flag.
I found
Okay.
in a flag.
Yeah.
Because there's of course you're going to fly the U.S. ensign.
Sure.
And placement and where it should go is that's one of the things I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Although I kind of knew that, but I was looking for, were there any rules or standards? And it turns out there are. And it turns out that there is a chart of ensign sizes and placement based on the length of your boat.
Oh, really? So the size
Yeah.
of the flag is determined by the size of your vessel.
That is correct.
Interesting.
And then
I thought they were just like minimums, but you're saying it. So your boat that you have right now, once again, is how long? Give the rundown real quick.
It's a 39 Silverton.
Okay.
Yeah, 39 Silverton. So and call it a 40 footer. So between 40 and 45 feet, you use the same size flag
I see.
for the U.S. ensign. And then, of course, your personal ensign or your club ensign or whatever ensign that you're flying that is your personal choice has to be smaller, of course.
And it's below the U.S. flag.
Well, no. You fly the U.S. flag at the stern, and you fly your personal ensign at the bow.
Okay, and if you don't do this, if you don't get the proper size, is it bad form, or do you get like in some kind of trouble?
Well, it's not a law. It's
Okay.
just a,
All right, it's
just
etiquette
it's just
kind of
it's
thing.
etiquette,
Right.
In fact, that's actually the word I used during my search was flag etiquette on vessels, and so I thought that was pretty interesting. But then the other thing I found,
Well, that
was-
Patrick didn't think it was very interesting.
well, no, he called this useless information.
I know. You're right. That's my point.
So this is useless information.
Okay.
But the other thing I found is there is a specific order in which you are to deploy and then remove your flags when the vessel is not in motion or in use. So if you're on your vessel and you're deploying the flags, the U.S. ensign is deployed first, and then all others. And then when you are removing the flags, all the other ensigns come down, and then the U.S. ensign comes down last.
I see. Okay, so this is just proper flag etiquette, and if you don't do it properly, you're just basically showing your cards that, hey, you're an idiot. You don't really know what you're doing when it comes to flags.
So even if you do the flags correctly, you could still be an idiot.
Well,
but,
true. Barry, what say you? You're the expert in that regard, yeah?
The flag from Hooters should not be larger than the U.S. flag.
Well,
might
first
be
of
the
all,
one
there would be
exception,
two
I'm not sure.
flags if you're in that case, wouldn't it?
Okay. Now that doesn't apply if you're in Alabama.
Oh, really?
The Hooters flag is bigger.
He's bigger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't know. I found that intriguing. I don't know if it was totally useless, but great first attempt there, Mike. So
Thank you. I'll do more research.
yeah.
Well, we are going to make this a somewhat regular segment. It will be useless boating facts with
Okay.
Mike the Mariner. We
Based
found
on
a
how
niche
well
for it.
that one went, is that what you're saying?
It doesn't matter.
Finally found a use for me.
Okay. Well, fair enough. He's earning that double, that increase in pay.
Thank you for that increase in pay. It's
He
really
needs
gonna
a
come in
hat.
handy.
He needs a hat? Nah, that'll
needs
cost
a-
money. We're sorry. But hey, we just doubled his pay,
Yeah.
Barry. He can afford his
okay.
own damn hat.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Guitars are getting expensive, aren't
That's
they?
right. Look at these things. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, speaking of Alabama,
Okay.
as we're now in our post boat show letdown, we got some news coming out of Alabama, actually Pensacola, Florida, when we come back.
Pretty much the same. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Imagine traveling twice as fast as you can drive. Imagine taking friends and family snorkeling, surfing, skiing, shopping, and more to exotic destinations. Imagine attending business meetings in cities far away and still making it home at night. Or just imagine exploring the wild blue yonder.
Quit dreaming about it and get to it. There has never been a better time to become a private pilot, and Flight Training Professionals in Orlando will show you how. Flight Training Professionals in Orlando is your full-service flight school. A state-of-the-art flight simulator, a fleet of the latest Cessna aircraft, and a staff of full-time seasoned flight instructors are just a few of the many reasons Flight Training Professionals in Orlando is the place to start your aviation adventure. Call 407-896-0077. That's 407-896-0077. Or go to ftpros.com. That's ftpros.com. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boater, also Mike the Mariner, with some useless boating information. He already shared that today. You'll have to wait till next week for a little bit more. So Alabama is back in the news when it comes to boating, or Pensacola. They're kind of interchangeable, I think.
Yeah, this is boating mayhem out on the water. Alabama man accused of intentionally crashing his boat into another, and you'll never guess the reason why. Anybody want to guess the reason
Boat
why?
rage is what it was. Yeah.
You need to read what happened to where he went after this other boater.
He didn't share the beer.
No.
Wow.
That would definitely create an issue, I would say. Okay, so why,
Have
Patrick?
anything to do with moonshine?
Nope. I'm surprised nobody
guess.
guessed.
Did it have to wait? What?
Surprised nobody guessed that the other boat wasn't flying the right size flag, considering what we had just talked about. But that's not the reason.
Okay.
Orange Beach man was arrested in Pensacola after being accused of intentionally crashing his boat into another. Kenneth Gordon is charged with reckless operation of a vessel, failure to report an accident, aggravated battery, and criminal mischief. So these boats are out on the water, and one boat goes past this boat goes past the boat that Mr. Gordon is in, and there was a wake, and apparently Mr. Gordon was upset that his boat got rocked. So he went after the other boat and then rammed the other boat, which caused 2 passengers on his boat to be ejected into the water.
That'll teach him.
High Captain ramming speed.
Gordon picked up the 2 people who got tossed from his boat and left the area. And, of course, police caught up to him. Gordon, for this fit of water rage, 4 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and the other 4 passengers on his boat reported back pain and bruising. Passengers on the boat that he hit reported back pain and knee injuries, and currently at $6,000 to repair the boat's damage. Of course, he was jailed and then released on a $5,500 bond.
Well, I think he got his point across, didn't he? Yeah, that's one way to do it. Probably not a very effective, let alone economical way, but there you go. Learn from his actions.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Welcome aboard. I will be your captain. You'll be my scallywags. I don't know what that means, but you will be them. And here's how we play.
Thank you for your attention and welcome aboard.
Let's go.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information and share a few stories where you can learn from a bunch of boating idiots. And make sure you're not one of those folks we'll be reporting on next week. Like that guy in Pensacola. Yeah, that was, he let his emotions get the best of him, it sounds like to me, Patrick.
That and probably a little bit of alcohol there.
You think?
Oh, yeah. That was in the story as well.
That'll do it.
So, you're responsible for the wake that your boat puts out, but encountering a wake is just it's a fact of life when it comes to boating. Yeah, as long as it's not being done in a egregious manner, if you will, or intentionally to really, cause somebody harm or damage. And we've all seen those, especially down in Barry's area. And Mike, I know up in your area, I know right once you get underneath the railroad bridge there,
right,
and you pass the marina on your left, there used to be years ago a guy that would sit out on the end of that dock.
Unbelievable! I can't believe
yell.
you're bringing that up. He was there last week, and I can't believe the thing is. So the Barbara Lee, the big paddle wheeler, we were approaching each other. He was coming the other direction, and I was going towards. I was just approaching the bridges, and he called me on the radio and said, "Silhouette, the guy's at the end of the dock yelling at people." And sure enough, I cleared the bridge, and this guy was, and I was creating a wake that wouldn't knock over I was idle speed, and this guy's standing there yelling. I don't know how much he had to drink, but I
think
just the right amount, evidently.
That guy's been out there for about 25, 30 years.
I think it's the same guy because he's been there the whole time I've been on this river.
Yeah. What is he saying? Anything we can share on the radio or no?
No,
I didn't think so.
I could not say some of the stuff that he says, but yeah.
Let's go boating. Is that what he was saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go boating.
Yes, let's go boating. That's exactly what he's saying. Let's go boating. But yeah, no, he's still out there doing it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, God bless him.
And especially in areas that are congested, like where Mike boats going upriver, you get into some pretty skinny areas, and even at the posted speed, which it's still what 25, 30 at max.
It's 25 in areas where it's not a no wake or slow zone. So it's
right,
25
no manatee
miles
zone, anything like that. So
yeah, I'm in no
you're
danger of breaking that speed limit with my boat.
and you're moving at 25 in some boats. And I had this argument with a law enforcement officer years ago out there because the area I was in was minimum wake. Well, the boat I was on put out a much smaller wake at 38 miles an hour than it did at 24.
Right. Many boats do.
He was like, "Didn't you see that?" So I said, "Yeah, I'm putting out a minimum wake. It's not a posted speed limit. It just says minimum wake. I'm putting out a minimum wake with my boat."
Correct.
I actually, believe it or not, I talked my way out of that ticket.
I don't know how you did that, but they've changed all the signs. They now say slow speed minimum wake.
There you go. That makes all the difference.
So they've changed the signs. The minimum wake is not just minimum wake because you could go through at a hydroplane at 150 miles an hour and barely create a ripple.
Yeah, and you come around some of those bends in the river, and there's somebody that's doing some fishing off to the side. He's out in the hydrilla and stuff, and you don't see him. So, it's a frustrating, certainly as a boater at times in the area where you're at, to be on and off, on and off, on and off, instead of just saying, you know what, I'm just going to run at X. We're going to enjoy the cruise upriver, on our way up to Blue Springs or up to Silver Glen, wherever it is that we're heading to, maybe heading all the way up to Jacksonville. We're just going to enjoy the trip and not have to be constantly on and off a plane, slowing down, coming off plane every time we encounter somebody that's, again, being courteous that we see fishing off to the side. Unfortunately, I've encountered people fishing right in the middle of the channel, which is infuriating to me because it's a navigable channel. You shouldn't be right there in the center.
That's where the fish are.
That's where the best fish are. So I should be
Absolutely.
able to. It's a free country. Why can't I fish in the middle of the channel?
Well, you technically can.
You can,
but
it's bad form, though.
It's bad form if you're taking up a significant part of the navigable waterway, especially in a bend. But there's a lot of spec fishermen out now because it's the spec season is starting. So you see more
fish on spec.
That's a type of fish.
They fish in the middle versus you fish for bass generally, along the sides, along the bank of the river,
right?
And the
grasses
specs
and
tend
stuff.
and this time of year the specs are more in the middle.
The specs are a type of fish, though, right?
Yes, correct.
Is that short for something?
Yeah.
What?
Speckled perch.
Speckled perch.
Speckled
okay.
perch. Yeah.
As we've all spent a considerable amount of time behind the wheel at the helm, with the exception of Greg, who rides as a passenger.
Yeah, but I was behind the helm. Hello.
What is the weirdest thing that you've encountered on the water
besides Barry?
And this is going to lead us into a story. So,
I wish I knew we had homework.
We always
you
have
can't think
homework,
on the
but
fly?
You don't follow us.
No,
on
that's
Facebook.
the problem. No,
No,
I
what's
don't.
the weirdest thing you've seen out on the water, Barry? You've seen a lot of things. Columbus Day
answer is
Regatta.
Greg.
I
Greg.
saw. Well, the Columbus Day.
Greg.
No, I said. Well, yeah. Besides Greg, no, I've seen this. I saw this floating island one time. It was a barge that looked like an island. It was some kind of party barge, and it had the palm trees and all that other stuff, and people were dancing and playing music as it was going down the intercoastal. That was pretty strange.
That's lame. Mike?
That was lame. Well, they were topless.
So strangest thing strangest thing?
Strangest, coolest,
weirdest, most unique,
Probably passing what we call the Redneck Riviera, Fort Florida. Some of the people partying and some of the things you see when
that you
people
can't
are
unsee.
having a really, really great time. You're right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like that one guy with the Speedo. There's like, oh, geez.
All that.
You saw me in my Speedo?
I did. No. God dang.
Out in California, off the coast of Marina Del Rey, a gentleman by the name of Khosrow Khosravani was on his brand new sailboat. He's a novice boater, has really taken to the water. loves it so much. He didn't know how to swim, even learned how to swim, which is always a good idea if you're going to be spending time out on the water, just in case. So he's out on his boat with a bunch of friends, and they're out, and they spot a pod of dolphins. So they're out there, and they're not chasing them because they're in a sailboat. They're just watching them frolic and stuff. And what do you think they see?
A naked
coming
woman
up out of the water.
Naked woman.
You read the story.
What are you talking about? I don't read.
It was a naked woman.
Yeah,
They
hello.
saw a single hand reaching up from the frigid waters of the Pacific Ocean, and they hoisted up a naked, shivering woman onto the deck of his 25-foot boat.
And after they were like, "Oh, thank you, Lord, thank you."
Thank you. Oh, we're just
and
heading
they're
out to the Pacific now. We'll be back into the land in about 20 years.
And then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, she's in trouble. We better take care of her."
Right.
Yeah.
So apparently she decided to go skinny dipping off the beach and got caught, I guess, in a rip current and had been out in the water for 12 hours.
And she survived. That's amazing. Because that water's cold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Lucky to be
dolphins kept her
alive.
warm or something. They peed all around the area.
Excuse me?
To keep her warm.
Oh, okay.
You said there was a pod of dolphins. They were probably swimming around here and
She
warm
went
up the water.
For about midnight, 12 hours earlier, she decided to go skinny dipping off of Venice Beach. And the average water temperature in September is 68.4 degrees.
Yeah, but she had enough booze in her to probably keep her warm, or
That
not
really
realize
does not
like,
do
hey, wait a
anything.
minute, where the heck am I? Who knows?
Man, that's cold. That's cold
Yeah.
water.
She
Yeah,
had.
when you think about the springs in Florida that are 71 degrees, and
Right.
that's cold.
That is very
You know?
cold, no doubt.
Yeah, but that's warm when it's 30 degrees in the air temperature.
But it wasn't
Okay. Yeah.
that at the time.
No, not there. I'm talking about the springs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, maybe.
Then
But
it feels
I
like
wouldn't.
bath water.
I wouldn't recommend swimming naked in the springs either. Actually.
We wouldn't recommend you swimming naked.
Yeah. Well, hey.
No,
But,
when I got my freshwater diving certification, it was at not Blue Springs. It was at
DeLeon,
DeLeon.
Yeah.
DeLeon Springs, and it was 28 degrees outside during the winter. It was one of the coldest days in Florida history, and I didn't want to get out of the water.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
in there. It was
'cause
like getting in the hot tub. 72
Exactly.
degrees. Yeah, it's all relative, So if it's the air temperature is colder, it can feel like an upgrade for sure. But it generally will get you regardless. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Pirate!
What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor at the light in the morning? Way in, she raises way in, she raises way in, she raises at the light in the morning.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry Z. Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Okay, so we've covered a lot already, and we only got a few minutes left. What are we going to touch on before we let our passengers, back on the dock there, Patrick?
If the wind's not blowing.
Yeah.
The Florida-Georgia game a week ago, the Coast Guard found somebody that was running an illegal charter. And this is kind of a warning. I mean, if you're looking at chartering a vessel, hiring a captain, you need to do your homework, make sure that they are properly licensed, that their boat has been properly inspected, meets all the requirements. But the Coast Guard did want to make this information available. Charters that violate a captain of the port order can face over $95,000 in fines, some potential civil penalties for illegally operating a passenger vessel are up to $7,800 for failure of operators to be enrolled in a chemical testing program, otherwise known as I'm enrolled in a drug consortium for the drug testing. Up to $4,800 for failure to provide a Coast Guard certificate of inspection for vessels carrying more than 6 passengers for hire. Up to $16,000 for failure to produce a valid certificate of documentation for vessels over 5 gross tons. And if you don't know how to work out the tonnage of your vessel and you're a charter captain, you should not be a charter captain. Up to $12,000 for failure to have been issued a valid stability letter prior to placing vessel in service with more than 6 passengers for hire. Up to $95,000 for every day of failure to comply with a captain of the port order.
Stability? As in when you walk and you don't keel over?
No, for the vessel, when you're, OUPV, known as a 6-pack, you're up to 6 passengers. When you are for charter like that, your vessel needs to have a letter of stability, meaning that it meets the requirement and isn't going to capsize.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that would be kind of a prerequisite for a vessel you're going to go out
Well,
on.
you could fix that with a couple of 55-gallon drums and a 2x4x8.
And a life vest. Here you go.
Yeah, the Coast Guard does not consider movable ballast to be a valid solution for stability. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Well, that rules out Barry.
Through that.
Yeah.
I haven't been there. I just know.
So you can't.
How
do
did
any
they catch
special engineering?
Yeah. How did they catch these folks that broke the rules at the game there, Patrick? Does it say on the story?
They go out and they check. And, usually in these areas, the Coast Guard knows they know the charter boat captains.
Right.
And all of a sudden there's a vessel out there and, it's got, there's 12 people on it and
they're
they pull
playing
up
music.
And they want to do an inspection. Then they start questioning and it's like, oh yeah, we hired the boat. Next thing you know, it's like, all right, where's your merchant mariner credential? Where's this? Where's that? Where's your life jacket?
So, so the moral of this story is don't do it because it's more trouble than it's worth. And if you are, make sure all your passengers know that, we're just all friends going out on my friend's boat. For God's sake, don't tell them that you hired me.
The workaround could be that you sell T-shirts with your boat's name on it for $1,000, and then you're just offering to give them a ride at no charge.
I don't think that will that'll fly.
I didn't say it would.
Yeah. That won't fly.
Yeah,
I didn't say it would.
I've seen something like that somewhere before. I'm trying to remember where.
No, if they say they didn't pay the guy.
It had to do with scalping tickets that the way you would get around scalping tickets is you would offer something that was very expensive and the tickets at normal price.
Correct.
Package deals.
Here's the concert shirt that I will sell to you for $5,000.
Right.
And here's these front row tickets that I'll sell to you for face value.
There you go. The more you learn, the more
I think, honestly, we have the same thing in aviation. You can't charter a plane or offer to pay for a pilot's gas because that's considered, payment. And that opens up a whole can of worms. But, if you're just friends, and so, that'd be the potential workaround. Like I said, and it's not, I don't know if this will hold up in court, but if they came and said, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're just a bunch of friends and we came out on my buddy's boat. We're just hanging out, watching the game. Then you're good to go, aren't you, Patrick?
No comment.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Any legal advice that you receive on this show should not be
probably
seriously.
Incorrect. Yes. The views expressed on the World of Boating are those of people without a clue.
Captain Greg.
So there, we're covered. All right.
There you go.
All right.
If you're looking to charter a vessel, hire a captain, do your homework. It's fairly easy to check. I mean, you ask them for their merchant mariner credential, ask them for their certificate of inspection, things like that. Because although you won't get fined out on the water, if they do get boarded and they're not legally allowed to operate a charter, your day's over on the water, and it's just a big hassle, and you're never going to get your money back from them.
Well, and God forbid something happens and you die. That's really what the ultimate thing they're trying to prevent. So kind of keep that in mind. You're just you're playing with not fire, but your life. If you go with not a reputable operation, everything other than the World of Boating.
Yeah, nothing like ending the show on death. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, good point. That'll be an upgrade for this show. All right. Anyway, we will wrap it up. That'll do it. Till next time, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a motor.
Safe boating, everyone.
Here, you barnacle-bitten swab.
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.